All right, so I want to talk about now Brady and Tampa. It's funny. Expectations generally, for all of us, create happiness or sadness. If your expectations are too high, you get disappointed. If your expectations are low and something decent happens, you're overjoyed. So Tampa last year, if you remember, we kept waiting for it to click. Right? We were like, it just doesn't look right. It didn't look right. And then they had the bye, and they beat a bunch of bad teams, Detroit and Atlanta, and we're like, yeah, they're great. But their offense wasn't great against Green Bay. It wasn't great against Washington. And really, their defense won the Super Bowl, not their offense against Kansas City. So this year, we're like, it's going to be a lot smoother for the Buccaneers. I said that. It's going to be different this year. We got preseason. It's the second year. We got OTAs. And it's the exact same. Last year, Tampa averaged 29.5 points a game. This year, they averaged 31. They were 7-3 at this point last year. Last year, they allowed 22.6 points a game. Now, this year, they're allowing 22.2 points a game, and their record is 7-3. It's the same team. Why wouldn't it be? They brought back all the same players and the same coaches in the same division. We keep thinking that Tampa has this next gear. But all the inconsistencies of last year are here this year. They still have a really old quarterback who's not athletic and dynamic physically. The weakness of the team last year was secondary because of age and inexperience, and it's now secondary because of inexperience and injuries. Their special teams are okay, but you'd never trust them in a big spot. And their running game is underwhelming last year and underwhelming this year. Last year, they were 29th in rushing attempts. This year, they're 31st in rushing attempts. We keep waiting for them to burst through because Kansas City has that capability. We've seen Kansas City at the top end. They've got another gear, and the Chiefs right now are not hitting it. They're getting closer, but they're not hitting it. I think Dallas has a really high-end offense if Amari Cooper is healthy and Tyron Smith. I think their offense is Aaron Rodgers. If he can finally get a healthy backfield and offensive line this year, I think they could take it to another level. I think Arizona could jump to another level. So there are offenses in this league. They're kind of simmering. They either have a quarterback that's hurt like Kyler Murray or like key components that are hurt like Green Bay or like Kansas City. They got a little loose. Mahomes' big play got a little loose. But Tampa's not that team. They're the exact same team. There is no higher ceiling. What they are is very good, and you cross your fingers that Tom Brady will provide magic in the postseason, because, you know, he normally does. But I'm watching him last night, and I'm thinking, Tampa doesn't have a problem. The problem's my expectations. The problem is I'm thinking, oh, they're the Chiefs, and they're Arizona when they get Kyler back, and they're Dallas. No, they're not. They got an old quarterback, average special teams, no running game, and a secondary I don't trust. And they'll win only in the postseason if Brady is magical, which he mostly is. But my expectations the last 2 years have been out of whack. Why would they be different this year? It's the same exact offense and defense and running game of last year. It's the same secondary issues, same average special teams. Why wouldn't they be? It's the same players and the same coaches. The only reliable opinion on Baker Mayfield in America has always been mine. No, I mean, that's it. The Browns were too high on him. Fans were too high on him. The media petrified of getting roasted if they're wrong with their vanilla takes. He'll be good. He'll be good. That was the safe take. My opinion is the only one that's ever been right, which was everybody was too high and unrealistic on Baker initially, and now they're beating the crap out of him, and it's not fair. Shocker. Fans are overly emotional in Cleveland. You thought he was Jim Kelly to start, and now you think he's Kyle Allen. So let me once again give the only reasonable opinion on Baker in America, because I don't get emotionally involved in this stuff. It's all biz. You know what I'm saying? A, he's never been a number one pick talent. B, he is a franchise quarterback, but he needs a ton of help around him. And C, he's way too cocky, too much ego for the position to rely on him. Again, all accurate from day one. But right now, Cleveland is roasting him, and it's totally unfair. Did you watch him against the Lions? He's in pain. He's got a bad heel. He's got a bad knee. He's got bad ribs. He's got a torn labrum. His shoulder's still not recovered. That wasn't Baker Mayfield. That was 50% of Baker. So Cleveland fans were outrageously delusional to start, and now you're unbelievably critical and unfair now. So once again, America's honesty broker, me, delivers the truth. Here's the solution. And since I've been right the entire time, why don't you just sit there, stop talking, and listen, because I'll pave the way to your success. I should frankly own the franchise at this point. Instead, I just own their fan base. I would sit Baker against Baltimore. Yes, and you're going to lose with Case Keenum because Baker, as I've told you, is a better version of Case with a much quicker release and a much better arm. And this is not arrogance, it's accuracy. I would sit him against Baltimore because the Browns have a bye after Baltimore. And then I would get 2 weeks of Baker Mayfield finally being healthy, and they'll lose to Baltimore. But then I get him back for the final 5 games. It'll be the healthiest Baker can be, and I can make a true evaluation on him. And he's going to beat Baltimore at home, and he's going to beat the Raiders at home, and he's going to lose to Green Bay, but beat the Steelers on the road and beat the Bengals again and go 10-7, and you'll be a playoff team. And as a front office, I'll get a reasonable evaluation of him because he'll be 90% healthy, which is frankly where most quarterbacks are during the season. They're sore, they're beat up, but they're about 90% healthy. But you were delusional initially, and now you're outrageously critical now. And you've been wildly inaccurate with both. If you want a true evaluation, sit the kid down for 2 weeks, get him as healthy as he can be, because what you saw Sunday is a kid with a bad knee and a bad heel and a bad shoulder and a torn labrum, and you're like, he's no good. Who's good playing at 40 to 50%? Mahomes isn't. I've seen Mahomes on a bad toe. He's not the same quarterback. So there you go. By the way, to prove my point, Baker's passing numbers this year are better than last year at this point. His completion percentage is higher. His passer rating is higher. His total passing yards are higher. This is the best Baker until he fell apart. Now he's Frankenstein out there. He's only missing a bolt in his neck. But the delusion initially and the criticism now is absurdly off. And you're welcome. You can take this for free, use it to get into playoffs, come back in about 6 weeks. Maybe I'll take your calls. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.